Hi everybody, we're live. I'm Kay Witt, and today I'm going to show you how to revive an old painting, but I want to tell you something I'm very excited about. I've been experimenting with software that will show me how to be able to use duplicate, or not duplicate, but an additional camera to these broadcasts that'll make it a little smoother transition. So hi Mary, thanks for tuning in. We'll have a good time today. I'm going to show you a couple of different things that I've been working on, and I'm going to flip the camera around, but if the information I'm learning will show me how to use two cameras, then I won't have to do that and turn you all upside down. But I'm going to switch the camera so that you can see the painting that we're going to work on today. And I'll tell you more about it. There we go. Here's my studio. Let me pull this up a little further. Hi Jeanette. Hi Lois. This painting is, I found it not too long ago. It's very, very old, probably 5 or 6 years old. It's on velour paper, but it's on, as you can see, just the paper. It's not mounted. And I use mounted paper now, which works so much better. And you probably can't see. Hi Gail. It's been a while since I've done one of these. I am sorry about that. I want to do more and more of these, at least one a week, because I think they're fun and hopefully they're helpful. Y'all have to let me know what you enjoy seeing. I found this when I was going through some stuff, and all the pastel is gone off of it. What you see is just really a kind of an imprint of what's left. But I liked it, and I thought, well, what can I do, hi Lorraine, to restore it, to punch it up, to maybe make it usable again. And since it is 6 years old, the way I paint has drastically changed. I'm going to tape it down before I get started. I do recommend that you use mounted board. It just makes it a whole lot more stable than the paper by itself. But this is just the imprint that's left. The pastel's long gone. And I've changed the way I paint quite a bit since then. So I'm going to start by using some darks. And I want to tell you about a product. I may have mentioned it before, maybe not. It's this little pencil. And inside the pencil are these leads. They're called Create a Color Black Chalk Lead. And the number on it is 26012. That's very important because Create a Color makes charcoal leads as well. But this is a black pastel, and it's very black. It's probably blacker than the charcoal pencil. You will not find this product at Dick Blick, and you won't find it at Jerry's. You'll just have to, if you're interested in it, I get mine from Canada actually, but I think they can be found in the United States, but you'll have to Google it. I'm going to use mine today, and what I'm going to do is start by adding some darks. I really, like I said, I was doing this a few years ago, and some of the original, I think we'll go back with some darker color too. The original lines have been lost, so I'm going to try and find those. Now, one thing I decided about this wolf was that I'd made his face too wide, and that actually I want to bring it in a little smaller. It kind of grew. So I'm going to get some background color, and I think I'm going to use a little beige. This is a Giraud. I'm going to put some of this in and kind of bring it up next to the face. I need a nice brown color. Let's see if I can find one. This is a Rembrandt. And we can always add other color later. Just something to put around him for now while we're working on his face. I'm going to switch back to create a color. And add a few lines. I'm just going to, if I put the darks in first, it kind of helps me form a map. Now his eyes got really lost. This wolf's name is Wolfgang. Wolfgang, no, I'm sorry, excuse me, this is actually Rudy. And Rudy has blue eyes. But at the time, I didn't put in the blue eyes because I thought it would be kind of hokey, and I didn't want to do that. Let me make the pupil darker. Now, if you have a pastel on velour particularly, well, and other surfaces too, I had one that I shipped, and it was destroyed by the shipper, and all I had left was an imprint, much like this. And if the paper's not damaged, you can use it. Let's outline this eye. And let's see if we can give Rudy back some eyes. Hi, Kelly Carey. So what I was saying was, as long as you're even if you've lost some of the pastel, and since I'm gonna draw his nose in too. I've learned so much more in the past 6 years about how to care for pastels. And if you frame them with the image against the glass, particularly if you're going to ship it, it's going to be a lot safer for your pastel. Okay, let's see if we can do something for these eyes, and then we'll add some other darks. I'm going to use my new pastel as well. Now the new pastel is probably the darkest dark you're going to get. And since this is such a small painting, I'm going to use some Conte pencils. Hi, Belinda. Okay, Mary asked a very good question. If you frame with the glass against the painting, does that keep you from losing the pastel? In my experience, yes. Since my work, I ship it and I also show it in a lot of shows, the glass keeps the painting stable. Now, if your picture is not ever going to be shipped or go anywhere, it's just in your house, then go ahead and mat it and keep it on your wall. But for everything that I do, I frame it against the glass, and I use museum glass. This is a Conte pencil number 17. Let's put a little bit of that in around the bottom. And this is a number 7. I'm going to make it darker up at the top where there's a shadow. Eyelid always casts a shadow. So I'm going to use number 7 over here as well. And then 17. I want it a little bit brighter. This is a 14. You want the eye a little brighter opposite to where the highlight's going to be. We're going to put the highlight over here. I am going to use the white charcoal pencil to put my highlight back in, and then I'm going to drag it across the pupil. I'm going to emphasize my pupil a little bit more. He's already looking better, I think. This is a green, number 50. I'm going to add a tad of green. I like that, right in that highlight area. Now he looks like he's back with us. He looks much more lively. Okay, now let's see what else we can do to this wolf. I'm going to use the edge of my black and add some black hairs. It's much easier for me to wiggle in the black hairs this way than it is to use a pencil or the point, except in these small areas. We're also going to need to add some brown to him as well. My thinking on this is about an 8 by 10. It'll make a nice little painting. And you don't have to add all your layers because you have you have this imprint that's left. Let's darken up the ears a little bit. In the center here. I'm going to use a 259 new pastel, make this a little darker. We need some blacker hairs here. Wanting to bring this in, so this is a lighter. Let's see if this will do it. Okay, Jeanette wants to know if I use spacer with the museum glass. I do not with velour, Jeanette. Would use spacers if you're working on traditional pastel paper, like sanded paper. I found this way to be the most successful way to do it. I like this color, so we're going to keep this color. I would tell you what it is, but I don't know. It has no number on it. It's going to be nice for a few lights in the back. So we'll save that, put that to the side. A lot of framers, if you go see them and tell them how you want to do it, they'll be really opposed to framing against the glass. But I've never had any trouble with that. And even if I want to reframe it and take it out, if you've painted it well, it will, you won't have any problems. Let's add a little more gray here, and then we're going to add some brown, and then we're going to add some light colors. Now for brown, let's use some 263 new pastel. Again, I'm using new pastels mostly because they fit into a small space. I don't care for that color, so I'm going to switch to I believe this is a 253, which is cocoa brown, which is very warm. I like that better. Put a little bit here. There was a little bit over here. See, this is, actually, Jeanette, this is a painting that got damaged because it had a mat. And the pastel fell off of it. It was damaged in handling, and so that's how it ended up being stored at my house. Hello, Roberta. Mary frames her own because framers just won't put it against the glass, and that's true. I've had a lot of people tell me that. I don't have any problem with that, but I have a really terrific framer. Let's put a few more black hairs here. while I'm looking at the eyes, I think I'm going to add just a little more, push a little harder, and make that just a little brighter. I like that. If you kind of drag your pencil across like that, it reflects the sky. If it was a larger painting, I'd probably use blue to reflect the overhead sky. Let's add a little bit of 259 gray. Lightly down the muzzle. Okay, let's see if we can add some white hairs with the 211 in the ears. Got one here, let me pull the paper back on it. I'm going to sharpen my edges. Now I'm going to rotate my picture so that I get the best angle for making hairs. Put a few at the top of his head. So I don't think there's any, my philosophy is that I don't think there's any picture that can't be fixed. I'm going to show you another one of my little secrets too. And that's looking pretty good. Let's put some brighter hairs right at the top. Let's use the white charcoal pencil to add a few hairs in. And I'm going to make his ear just a little bit wider and darker. Roberta, this is Wolfgang. Now, those of you who have been in my classes know we have a secret weapon for fixing pastels that get out of hand. And it is, I don't think I've shared this before, a microfiber cloth from Costco or Walmart or something like that. If you take this side, if you have too much pastel on your paper, you can rub it across the velour and it will remove the excess pastel like that and restore the nap so that you can put more pastel on top. So let's continue working on Wolfgang and see if we can get him back to life. So let's add the white hairs over his eyes. Very important to keep a sharp edge on your pastel. I'm going to use my charcoal pencil because it's such a small space. I'm going to switch to gray $2.99. Add some little gray hairs. And draw a few black ones back in with my charcoal pencil, or I could use the Create-A-Color has a finer point. Yes, I'll tell you something else too, Mary. I'm glad you like that tip about the microfiber cloth. When you get a dent in your pastel, you can actually pull the dents back out if they aren't too bad with the microfiber. Let's add a few white hairs. Now I don't get them as sharp when I'm coming over this muzzle because we want that to have more. There's a very defined area here. And let's use a 249 gray. On this side. Ooh, ripples. Mary wants to know about removing ripples from the painting because of humidity. That's the problem with loose paper. That's why we should dry mount them when possible. I don't know about removing them once they're there, Mary, because you can't, I don't think you can dry mount a finished painting successfully. I'll tell you what I am getting ready to do, and that's do some experimenting with pastel mat. And I got a great tip from my buddy Leslie Harrison, and she attaches her pastel mat to a mount board with Yes glue. So I have ordered some Yes glue, and I'm going to give it a try. And I will let you know my success or failure. So our wolf is taking on life again. Mary, I will tell you this, I don't know if it'll work. There is a photographer's mount board made by Crescent. It's called Ready Mount. You can get it from Dick Blick, and it comes in various sizes. I think I get the 1/8 inch size, and it's like got contact paper. You pull the paper off and it has a sticky surface. It might be possible to take your pastel and apply it to that. I have done it with paper I haven't painted on, but I have not done it with one that I have. And you can only put it down one time. I mean, you have to make sure you get it on there right. Now, when I use it for applying loose paper, I center it over and attach it, and I use a brayer to make sure that it's attached well to the backing. You might try that. Hi, Veronica. Veronica is watching us. So I'm going to add some more hair. I think he's looking pretty good. He's looking much better than he was. Let's see. Let's perk up his nose a little bit. We use 305 spruce blue. Put some navy blue down on this nose. We don't need to completely do it over because he already had a nose, so we're just adding more color. So now I'll take my black, darken the nostrils and the nose. Now, where the top of the nose blends into the muzzle, I'm going to use my 259 to kind of blend it together. Now let's add some, let's see how this works. This is Conte 29 blue. Add a highlight there, there, here, a little bit here. Let's use one of my favorite colors. Is the new Pastel 304 Orchid. Let's add, let's see how this looks. If it doesn't look good, we can take it out. Highlight there on top of the nose. I don't like that too much. I think it's, so I'm going to back it out a little bit. Not everything works, and you kind of have to decide what does and what doesn't. Well, he's looking a lot better than when we started. Mary, about your humidity problem, you could always move. And let's use the gray 249. I think he's looking really good. Oh, Mary says, if it's a painting you sent to your brother, just get it back from him and tell him you're gonna fix it. I keep looking at this eye, so I'm going to add a little more green. I'm real happy with him. If you've enjoyed this, please write me and let me know what other things you'd like to see. I want to show you one more thing today that I hope you'll enjoy. I found another old painting. It's a watercolor. In fact, it is the last watercolor that I did before I started painting with pastels, and it is the reason I started painting with pastels. It was a watercolor I did of my dog. This is Sable, and I could not paint her adequately with watercolor. I couldn't make her look furry. So I pulled this out the other day, and was thinking maybe I could use a combination of pastels and some other different products. Some things recommended to me, pastel pencils, and I found some, these are water-soluble pastels, Neocolor 2 to be specific. They go on like crayons, and you wet them, and they're very vibrant. If you would like me to experiment with that and maybe do a Facebook Live, let me know. And I'll see what I can do. So have a nice weekend and happy painting. Oh, one other thing I'd like to say about this. This half of Sable's head I started working on yesterday by adding darker with the water-soluble pastels. And I'm also trying to punch her eyes up a bit so that they can be brighter. It had gotten very, very dull. I will post the before and after pictures on Facebook. Well, thank you, Gail and Mary. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will have a nice weekend, and I will see you next time. Happy painting.